and I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on our agenda is announcements. We have a couple of Board of Supervisors meeting reminders. In July and August, the Board of Supervisors will meet only once each month on the second Monday, which is July 13th and August 10th. So please mark your calendars. And we'd like to welcome a few new businesses to the township. And these are businesses that joined the township in the month of May. One is actually a business that's been here, although it's under new management, Lightbridge Academy of Montgomeryville, located at 671 Bethlehem Pike, and Brilliant Baby and Beyond, located at 804 Bethlehem Pike, an early childhood boutique. Thank you to both Lightbridge Academy and Brilliant Baby and Beyond for choosing Montgomery Township. The next item is public comment. Any persons wishing to make public comment during this meeting on any items not listed on the agenda may do so at this time. Please come forward to the microphone and state your name and whether you're a township resident or business owner, and kindly keep your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to make public comment? All right, not today. Moving along, we have an announcement of executive session. I'll turn it over to Solicitor Sean Kilkenny.
Yes, the board met in executive session at 6:30 this evening to discuss matters of personnel. The meeting was compliant with the Sunshine Law. Thank you.
Thank you, Solicitor Kilkenny. Our next item is our consent agenda. I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented for the following minutes of the May 26, 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting. The payment of bills for June 8th, 2026. Return of the maintenance bond for the Meadows at Parkview at the Enclave of Montgomery. The end of maintenance period for Love Car Wash. Escrow release number 13 for Westrum Montgomeryville, Luxor. And the end of maintenance period for Walnut Knoll. Is there a second?
Second.
Any public comment? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion carries. Moving on to planning and zoning. We have agenda item 7, the Village of Windsor, request for a 2-year extension of the land development. Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager.
Good evening. The land development project referenced involves the property behind Airport Square Shopping Center. The project is comprised of an independent living facility, assisted living, and memory care centers, a 54,000 square foot medical office building, a 31,000 square foot medical office building, and a 6,400 square foot restaurant. The applicants received preliminary final land development approval on July 25th, 2022. Condition number 17 specifically states, quote, this resolution will expire 2 years from the date of this resolution unless extended in writing by the township, end quote. The applicant requested a 2-year extension, which was granted by the board and memorialized in resolution 2024-13, which was adopted at your public meeting on May 28th of 2024. The applicant is now requesting an additional 2-year extension, citing the acquisitions of rights of way, temporary construction easements, and traffic signal easements as the reason for the request. Staff is requesting that if the board considers the extension, the applicant continues to ensure that the property is regularly maintained for trash removal and overgrown vegetation, specifically along Airport Square Road. And this evening, we have counsel from Brandt & Associates here on behalf of the applicant.
Yes, good evening. My name is Wendy McKenna. My name's Wendy McKenna of Brandt & Associates, and I have with me Pat Smith from the developer Airport Square Associates. My firm's handled this project since its inception many years ago. It was actually the topic of a court approved settlement stipulation many years ago, and Carolyn has accurately summarized where the status of the project, the approvals that were received, and we would request this additional extension. The approval entails significant roadway improvements that require easement acquisitions from third-party property owners in the area. So that's why we're still have not been able to put the shovel in the ground.
So
And I have Mr. Smith, if you have any questions also.
that was part of the question was, what seems to be causing the delay in moving forward on the project. So if you could shed any additional light on that, or if there is any additional
It's just
information
frankly,
you can
it's
share.
difficult dealing. We have third-party property owners that there are easements, temporary construction easement, traffic signal easements, road widening improvements that are required for the project. And sometimes those negotiations obviously are difficult. So at this point, the next step may be necessary to institute condemnation proceedings. We were hopeful that wouldn't be the case, but we may be on the eve of that, and that takes some time, obviously, for that process to go forward.
Okay. We did hear some feedback about the state of the properties, that it was cleared, and but then subsequently, there's been some regrowth. Is there something that can be done about, maintaining the property?
Sure. I think Mr. Smith probably can speak to that.
Yeah, I actually drove by the site before we came over here, and I live in the area, so I'm by here fairly often. We've had a real good growth this summer. So I've already notified our landscaper. He's going to be out there in the next couple of days. We're going to clean up basically all along the roadway frontage, especially Airport Square Road. I know you can barely drive down the road now, so we'll get that cleaned up very, very quickly. And everything along Horsham Road, it's just a little bit ratty looking, for lack of a better term. So
Agreed.
we'll clean all that up. The only thing we're not going to be able to touch, though, is the area down by where the wetlands are, down closer to Upper State Road along Horsham Road. That's a no-go zone for us, unfortunately.
Well, I'm excited for this use. I am happy that you chose Montgomery Township for this project, and we're looking forward to it getting started. Any other comments or questions from the board?
I'm just curious, when you said condemnation, what exactly would be being condemned?
So I don't have the specifics committed to memory, but there's some temporary construction easements, some easements for traffic signal maintenance, and there is some road widening that's required as part of the project. There are 3 impacted properties, and we have been attempting to negotiate with those property owners, but those things sometimes take some time.
And they're swaths of land, so they're not actually whole
we're not talking
properties. So
about-
there's like a little piece of batteries and bulbs that needs to be acquired. There's a piece near Taco Bell that needs to be acquired, and there's a piece near Golf Galaxy that needs to be acquired. And the board, I believe there was a previous action where you approved the condemnation, because the way the settlement agreement reads is that they will bear the cost, but we would put our name on it and go through the action if we had to. But at that time, we were asked to pause it because they believed they were still in a position to work with those property owners. There's just a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of owners that are involved in it, and some of the people have changed. So they're talking to one person, and then that person sort of pushes it along, and then nothing happens. And then another person gets brought in, and it's like starting all over again, explaining to them what's happening.
The intent is still senior living with some
Yes.
restaurants and things?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Great.
So thank you, Carolyn, for that clarification on the condemnation, because I was wondering whether or not that was in addition to what had already been approved by the board. So we're talking about the same thing. I didn't realize that had all been put on hold. So thank you for that clarification. If there aren't any other questions from the board, then I'll move to adopt resolution number 2026-16, granting an additional 2-year extension of the original resolution number 2022-32 and resolution number 2024-13 to expire on July 25th, 2028. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a great evening.
Moving on to agenda item 8, which is the review and authorization to advertise a data center ordinance. Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager.
The township solicitor advised that many municipalities are considering passing data center ordinances to better regulate the location and site requirements. Currently, our zoning ordinance does not contain a provision for this use. The solicitor prepared a resolution which the Board of Supervisors adopted at your public meeting on March 23rd. It declared our zoning ordinance substantively invalid and initiated the process to remedy it by preparing an ordinance specifically for data centers. The solicitor's office drafted the ordinance, and Montgomery County has developed a model ordinance and circulated to municipalities in the county. Included in your packet is the draft ordinance for your review this evening.
And there's just one thing I wanted to bring to the board's attention. I know my office, Mr. Walco, was going back and forth with Mr. Hill, and we were talking about the setback requirements that's originally in the form of the ordinance you have before you at 1,000 feet. We'd recommend that if you go ahead and direct staff to begin the process to advertise and send this to our planning commission and the county planning commission, that you actually reduce that to 450 feet. The reason being that why we were making that recommendation is when we looked at the 1,000-foot requirement, there was no property that would comply. So we would be kind of defeating the purpose of one, allowing data centers, but making it as stringent as possible on these data centers. Because if you dealt with these setback requirements and you made it 1,000 feet and nobody complied, if the ordinance was challenged, court would likely say it's unconstitutional, and then they would be able to put the data center anywhere they wanted within reason in Montgomery Township. So that was our office going back and forth with Mr. Hill later in this afternoon, but just wanted to bring that recommendation to your attention. I don't know, Mr. Hill, if you had anything to add to that.
No. It's just in the early stages, so that was one thing that you needed to comply with, and outreach to the properties that you had available.
And I thought it would
Okay,
be
yes.
helpful, to highlight some of the provisions that are in the ordinance.
Sure, we can go ahead and do that. But the one thing I also wanted to explain for the benefit of the public and the board is obviously there's been a lot of attention nationally, locally about data centers. And you hear constantly that we can have no data centers and we don't want data centers. I know nobody here on this board or probably in Montgomery Township is pining for a data center. But unfortunately, that is the state. Unfortunately, the state of the law is under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, any legitimate use, you have to provide for it somewhere in your township. So what the board is doing is they're being proactive by with a tightly tailored ordinance, allowing it in the light industrial district, but essentially not allowing it anywhere else in the township, unless if there was some kind of text amendment or application to the zoning hearing board. So you're limiting in a very small swath of where these could go potentially in the township. And there are very, very strict requirements that they have to meet. I assume Ms. McCreary was going to go through some of them, or we could go through some of them, and entertain any questions the board may have.
I think it's worth having a little bit of discussion about some of the provisions that are within the proposed ordinance.
So I think the biggest one for me is the fact that this would be restricted to the LI, which is your limited industrial district. So for people who have approached me at Chamber of Commerce events, HOA meetings, it would not go at the mall. So it would be you're putting it in the zoning district that you think it's most compatible, which in our case is the limited industrial district. I don't know if you want to touch on anything else, Madam Chair.
I mean, there are very strict standards. We talked about setbacks. We talked about the use of water within a potential data center. There are restrictions on noise and very specific requirements related to those setbacks and DBAs or the noise standards that would be forward. There's also a decommissioning plan that would have to be presented to the board, meaning that if the data center went away and new technology came, what would happen, how financial security would be posted, and all sorts of stuff. There's a wastewater disposable analysis. There is actually a thermal impact, meaning a mitigation plan, which will be submitted as part of the conditional use process related to this. So we really try to focus on kind of what you've dealt with nationally, meaning that Montgomery Township ratepayers would not bear the burden related to both water and electricity if this came forward. There would not be an overabundance of noise to the best of our ability and obviously data centers are evolving technology. This ordinance could be amended in the future, but we were trying to comply with all the requirements that we've heard, not only out of Montgomery Township, but my firm's lucky enough to represent 40 municipalities, all in southeastern Pennsylvania. Almost all of them are dealing with this. Two of our municipalities are dealing with data center conditional use applications. So we use that experience combined with what recommendations we've gotten from the County Planning Commission, a joint document between the Chester County and Montgomery County Planning Commission. I know Ms. McCurry attended a managers conference and got some guidance from York, Pennsylvania, and we tried to put that all together and craft the best ordinance that we can, knowing that probably in the future it'll have to be amended in some form or another. But we want to protect the township as best as we can at this juncture.
Thank you, Solicitor Kilkenny.
So we're trying to protect ourselves, obviously. If someone did come in, what would the process be that would have to take place for them to be approved in these very finite locations?
A conditional use application would have to be before this board, and they would have to meet all the criteria laid out in this ordinance right here.
Thank you. I think this is a really great start, and I feel like we're acting proactively in the best interests of our community in advance of receiving any applications, and we have not received any of those applications today. Is that correct? That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments or questions from the board? So do we need to amend the motion to authorize the advertisement? Or is this?
I think we have the guidance that we'll change it to 450.
Yeah, as you would amend it, you would authorize the advertisement as noted by the solicitor's office. And you would also the advertisement would not occur until after the Planning Commission and the County Planning Commission have reviewed this.
Okay.
So you could postpone that portion and just authorize it to go to the planning commissions as we discussed. And then as soon as they do their review, then you'd be in a position to look at any changes that they've proposed and then authorize the advertising. It'd probably be cleaner that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think at this point, I'll move to authorize this draft with the amendments noted by Solicitor Kilkenny related to the setbacks to be shared with both our Planning Commission and the Montgomery County Planning Commission for review.
Second.
Yeah. Any public comment?
Jay Wachewski, Pinecrest. Just want to say I appreciate the township being proactive on this topic. The engineer in me, in my business background, I checked a lot of boxes that you were addressing and left the flexibility. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Hearing no further public comment, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Moving on to public safety, we have agenda item 9, authorize advertisement of ordinance amendment for no turn on red southbound US 202 Parkway at Horsham Road. William Peoples, Chief of Police.
Thank you. Included in the Board of Supervisors agenda packet is an ordinance proposing an amendment to Montgomery Township Ordinance 222-11, right turn prohibited on red signal. The proposed amendment would prohibit right turns on red for vehicles traveling southbound on US 202 Parkway and turning right onto Horsham Road. This amendment is being recommended in accordance with PennDOT guidance. Staff recommends that the board authorize the advertisement of the proposed ordinance amendment.
Have there been a lot of accidents associated with that particular intersection and making the right turn on red? Is that why we're,
It's the problem that we're having is so many people are just blowing through the red light. When we looked at the intersection again, that's when going with PennDOT, we decided that it's no turn on red on the other side. So it's going to be no turn on red on both sides now.
that makes sense. Any other comments or questions from the board? No? All right, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the advertisement of an ordinance amending section 222-11 to add right turn on red prohibitions on the US Route 202 Parkway turning right onto Horsham Road.
So moved.
Second.
Any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to Public Works. Agenda item 10, consider award of contract for the new door installation at Public Works and Battalions 1 and 2. Greg Reef, Director of Public Works.
Good evening. Public Works Department obtained 3 quotes from 3 qualified and responsible vendors. Documentation has been kept on file indicating that the 3 quotes were received meeting the specifications set forth by the township. Monarch Door Company provided us with quotes dated June 1st, 2026, totaling $21,790. The J Door Company provided us in the amount of $19,195, and K&J Doors provided us the lowest quote dated March 27th in the amount of $13,946.09. Total of $10,300 is included in the 2026 capital budget. The total cost is $3,646.09 over budget due to the addition of a door at Battalion 2 that needed to be replaced, as well as the scheduled doors at Public Works and Battalion 1. Per the quote provided, it would be our recommendation to award the contract to K&J Doors to perform the services outlined in our specifications.
Thank you, Greg. Any questions or comments from the board? It seems pretty straightforward. All right, I'll move to award the contract for the new door installation at the Public Works in Battalions 1 and 2 to KJ Doors, the contractor providing the lowest quote dated March 27th, 2026 in the amount of $13,946.09.
Second.
Any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 11, authorization for surplus items to be sold on municipal bid. Greg Rafe, Director of Public Works.
Okay, on April 13th of 2026, the township authorized to dispose of surplus assets through Municibid, an online auction company. The auction concluded successfully on May 26th of 2026. Below is the list of items that were on there that were successfully purchased upon the township will receive $91,275 from the sale of the surplus assets within 30 days of the Board of Supervisors approval. So our recommendation would be the Board of Supervisors authorize the sale of the above listed items to the highest bidders.
What is the process when the people come and pick them up from all of these sales? What does that look like?
It's kind of a pain in the neck, to be honest with you.
This is quite the laundry list. And I feel like
it is a laundry list. It's a process. I mean, they get in contact with us, they arrange pickup, they bring the money with, and we sign everything over to them with Deb's help and Stacy's help. So yeah, it's a process.
do they have to pay like in advance, or do they? And you said they bring the money with them. Is that like
Yeah.
a money order or a
Yes.
certified check?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just curious. Yeah. All right. I'll move to authorize the sale of the above listed equipment to the highest bidders as noted.
Second.
Any public comment?
Is that F-250, the 2016, was that on the list?
Um,
couple meetings ago that we voted to put a new $170,000 truck and equipment.
No.
We didn't know at
that
that time
one,
what the
yeah,
salvage
that
value
one was not yet because we haven't received the other, we haven't,
was. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I was,
so
did you
once
ever get an estimate on what that was going to be worth? Nope. Okay.
we don't, and generally, like I said, we kind of watch the sales just to see what things are bringing, and we try to base it on that. Yeah, yep.
Any further public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And moving on to Parks and Recreation, we have agenda item 12, the approval of playground equipment purchased for Whistle Stop Park. Carolyn McCreary, Township Manager.
Thank you. The Whistle Stop Park Improvement Project includes the removal and replacement of outdated play equipment with a new accessible, inclusive playground that will have sensory components located adjacent to the pavilion. The playground will also include a poured-in-place safety surfacing, shade structures, and perimeter fencing. Included in your packet is a proposal from CompMan Inc., a CoStarz vendor for the playground equipment and poured safety surface. The total cost is $757,506, which was calculated into the budget for the park improvement project. $1.5 million was included in the 2026 capital budget and the capital investment plan. The total township outlay net of the grants awarded is $1,454,464. In your packet, you have a list of the equipment along with some renderings of the playground itself. So it'll be a section for small children 2 to 5, and then a section for older children. It'll be fenced so that one, for the safety of all children, but especially children who may be on the spectrum, so that they can play safely. The equipment will be all in one place so that children with special needs can actually play next to their siblings and friends and not separated off to the side somewhere.
That's wonderful. The
It looks like,
illustration didn't actually show the fence, and I was like, wait, I think there's a fence.
and I love
Yeah.
that you have a train and a train track. For
So the
Whistle Stop.
colors are very similar to a train that we all know and love on public television, but we can't use any, and you can't use anything else except the primary colors. So
Sir Toppin Hat will be there at the.
I can either confirm or deny.
Okay, this is wonderful.
Do we know when it will be done?
Well, you awarded the bid for the construction at your last meeting. With this approval, the equipment will be ordered. It is going to be a long process. So there are gentlemen who have approached the township about possibly having cricket at a park, and this was one of the parks, and we explained to them that the park they're seeing now is not going to be the park that it's going to be, because there are going to be outdoor pickleball courts there. There's also going to be a walking trail, and more importantly, it's going to be under construction for at least the next year. So once they get started in breaking ground, we're looking at next year, you'll have a ribbon cutting.
Looking forward to that. Okay, I'll move to approve the sales proposal dated May 15, 2026 for Compam Inc. in the amount of $757,506.07 and authorize the township manager to execute the document.
Second.
Any public comment? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say,
700. What was the 1.1 million that I heard?
$1.5 million is the budget that was included for the project. So with this,
Why did we have the 375,000?
yes, so net of that, we're going to expend about 1.45 million. And just for the board's knowledge, prior to this particular purchase, we are 24% under our capital budget so far year to date for 2026 capital purchases and projects.
And this doesn't include the pickleball courts, this authorization, or does it?
The pickleball courts were already approved in the prior bid, the
Oh,
prior bid
okay.
award.
I wasn't able to attend last meeting. Okay. I was watching some minutes. All right, thank you.
hearing no further public comment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Any old business to come before the board? Oh, wait, no, we have another one. I'm sorry, I skipped agenda item 13. I know, Rich. I didn't mean to slight you here. Here we have agenda item 13. The approval of the Wi-Fi upgrades at the Community and Recreation Center, and our Director of Information and Technology, Rich Greer.
Good evening, thank you.
The wireless network at the Community and Recreation Center has reached end of service life and no longer provides adequate coverage or capacity for staff operations, public guest access, or the facility systems that run off of the Wi-Fi network. The Information Technology Department recommends replacing the existing access points with 13 current generation Ruckus Wi-Fi 7 access points. Pricing was obtained from Omega Systems under Pennsylvania CoStar's contract 003 E23636 on quote 008961 dated June 5th, totaling $27,513.40. Staff obtained pricing for this project in 2025 for budget purposes. Omega Systems quote 5446 dated September 18th in 2025 totaled $19,854.36 for the same scope of equipment. When the project was requoted for the 2026 project cycle, current manufacturer pricing produced a materially higher total summarized in your packets. Funding for this project is included in the 2026 IT budget under Fund 30 Capital Reserve, Department 450 REC for the REC Ruckus Wi-Fi upgrade with a budgeted amount of $20,000. The total of $27,513.40 exceeds the budget by $7,513.40, requiring board approval to proceed. Staff is recommending, per the quote provided, that we award the purchase of the Wi-Fi upgrade system and installation services at the Community and Recreation Center to Omega Systems in the amount of $27,513.40.
Any sense of what was driving the increase in the price?
Yeah, I put a little table in there for you to see. It's all the hardware. Ruckus is very, over the years, has been very reasonably priced for us. It's one of the reasons we moved to them about 4 years ago. This is one of the last sites to go from Cisco products to Ruckus, and it's the cost of everything. The shipping's gone up, everything's gone up. But the big item is the actual physical hardware is going up. Anything that has silicon on it is going up.
Okay. I was just wondering if it's tariff related or if it's,
Not that
just,
I'm aware of.
okay.
We're seeing it across all the products. Thankfully, this is one of our last 26 products. The township is actually looking pretty good shape as far as technology goes. We're not seeing any big needs. So we're hoping we can get through and see the market stabilize a little bit for 2027.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the board? All right. Hearing none, I will move to approve the Wi-Fi upgrades at the Community and Recreation Center and award the purchase to Omega Systems under the CoStar's contract 003-E23-636 per quote number 008961 dated June 5th, 2026 in the amount of $27,513.40. Is there a second?
Second.
Any public comment? Thank you, Mr. Wachowski. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Any old business to come before the board? Any new business to come before the board? My goodness, this is like record time. I'm thinking
Almost.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.